Well, Enoch Ndou, who is accused of killing 7 family members on Christmas Day in 2021, is back in the Thohoyandou High Court. A psychiatric report says he can stand trial, but it suggests that he go into a mental institution. The court is deciding if he should face trial or not. For more insight on this, we speak to our reporter Mahlatse Phaladi. Mahlatse, a good morning to you. Perhaps give us the details on what exactly came out of that psychiatric report.
Good morning, Naledi, and to our SABC viewers. You will remember, Naledi, that the court said for the whole of last week to discuss some of the contents of the 2 psychiatric reports. These are just the reports that were looking into the mental state of the accused Enoch Ndou. You will remember, Naledi, that just last year after this incident happened, the accused Enoch Ndou was actually taken into a mental facility whereby the psychiatrist had to determine his mental state. One of the things that was mentioned in this report, Naledi, was that Ndou had episode of psychiatric mental breakdown during his life, this dating as back as his teen years, and this was revealed by the psychiatrist Dr. Nandipa, who actually came last week to testify on the outcome of the report. And quite interestingly, Naledi, the report which Dr. Lupuan made suggested that the accused Enoch Ndou should not be held criminally liable for the crimes that he committed on that particular day. And one of the things that the psychiatrist mentioned was that during the assessment, they actually found that in Ndou there was a mental episode that may have impeded his judgment and his capacity on that particular day. So in simple layman's terms, they are suggesting that Ndou on that particular day of the accident, he was not in a good mental state to actually be responsible for those crimes that were committed. And this was something, Naledi, that was actually challenged by the state, and the state came gun blazing on this report, saying that this report by Dr. Lupuan actually lacked a content mentioning the fact that as well as the report was based on assumption, and this was also echoed by the judge as well when he was cross-examining Dr. Lupuan. He's suggesting that how come this report only delved much into the mental history of Ndou and not focusing on that particular day of this incident. And the judge has also chipped in and mentioned the fact that the accused managed to travel all the way from Northwest, where he was employed as a nurse, all by himself in the Northwest, to Jimmy Jones, all by himself. Does that not in its way suggest that on that particular day Ndou had the mental capacity to actually comprehend the crimes that he committed? And this is something that has been the bone of contention as well. And one thing that the psychiatrist put forward, Naledi, was that they could not actually know of whether Ndou was in a good mental state on that particular day, because there is no evidence that suggests otherwise. All that they relied on as psychiatrists was the mental history of Ndou, and hence they also had to come to this conclusion. Naledi?
Big matter, Mahlatse, if we really think about it. So going back to that Christmas Day in 2021, 7 family members, perhaps remind us of, what we understood happened on that fateful day. And then, of course, talk to us about the demeanor of Ndou as he continues to appear in court.
Yes, Naledi, Ndou from the bench, he seems like quite a quiet person. There is instances whereby during the court proceedings he'll actually go to his lawyer and try to give him information on what happened, especially as this cross-examination was going on. And quite interestingly, Naledi, even the judge himself actually was very strong on these 2 particular reports that came out, suggesting that Ndou should not be held criminally liable, suggesting the issue that on everything they hear, everything that was brought to court, they could understand. They could understand that he suffered mental episode. He was someone who was in and out of psychiatric hospital. But what the judge actually wanted this particular report to focus on was actually on the day of that crime that happened, saying that could we know whether Ndou on that particular day he had that psychotic episode. And this is something, lady, that the court could not, something that the witness actually could not bring to the light. He's saying that them as psychiatrists, them as people who are expert in this field, they don't actually they were not actually in the crime scene, if I can put it clearly, Naledi, and there is no way to determine whether, of course, they could, be able to make a clear or a precise judgment on whether Ndou on that particular day had a mental breakdown. But you remember, Naledi, just last year when Ndou came into the bench, there was quite an episode whereby he was seen crying when he was in court, and we haven't seen that quite well since the court resumed this last week, and we are still yet to see what will unfold as the court proceeds today, Naledi.
All right, let's leave it there. Mahlatse Phaladi there is our reporter speaking to us on the Thohoyandou High Court, where we are, of course, seeing the appearance of Enoch Ndou, who's accused of killing 7 family members. That was on Christmas Day in 2021.